Today, I joined a LifeSteal SMP copy called the DoomsdaySMP, where you can kill somebody and steal one of their hearts. The only problem is, I'm joining this SMP 2 weeks late, and the biggest event and war of the server is happening in 3 days! Now this story actually starts even before I joined the SMP for the first time. Let me remind you that I joined 2 weeks late, and basically everyone on the server already had super stacked items and a lot of hearts. Now believe it or not, this wasn't a very good thing for me, considering I was completely broke and basically some walking free hearts for the rest of the server. Many new players like myself had already been tricked into getting spawn killed and losing tons of their hearts, so if I wanted to take over, let alone survive in this SMP, I was going to need a plan. To ensure that I would be safe at spawn, I needed a team. I was able to alliance with a few other SMP members before joining, including Clown Pierce, one of the best crystal PvPers in the world, and the most powerful player on the actual LifeSteal SMP. I also alliance with a few other members like Murphin and Tay, who are also good Minecraft PvPers just like myself. Now this new alliance was amazing for me, don't get me wrong, but it was still going to be an absolute struggle for me to survive, for one specific reason. Many players on the enemy team were already plotting to end me, so if I wanted to survive, I would have to act fast. When it was finally time for me to join the SMP, my teammates Murphin and C caused a distraction to make some of the other SMP members log out of the server. This meant so I could join and escape spawn without anyone knowing. I was still a little nervous since this could all be a trap, but decided to go along with it anyways. After all, this was my only chance to get out of spawn, so I had to take it.
Yep.
Alright, here we go. First time on, everyone's distracted. Okay.
Yo, there he is.
Yo!
Yo, what's up?
After escaping spawn through the nether, we headed out on a long journey to the main base. While going there, I was told of our team's plans for the big war and event, but first off, let me just explain what all of that is. In 3 days, the end dimension is finally being opened. Although right now it's closed to the entire SMP, some players have already started to find strongholds, eyes of ender, and the portals to go to the end. Now that the end is finally being opened, it means that every member of the SMP is going to be in one place at the same time, and since PvP is turned on, you can probably guess exactly what's going to happen. A few players on our team are planning their revenge during the end fight, but another one of our goals is to get the Dragon Egg, the rarest item on the entire LifeSteal SMP copy. We've also heard that other players have begun to form alliances, and our enemies have also been preparing gear to take us down during the giant fight. There's no doubt that there will be a big fight, and I plan to steal a lot of hearts for myself. C also mentioned something about him having over 10 Wither Skulls and planning to use them, but I'm sure that won't be important at all during the end fight. I was finally at my team's base, and it was time for me to grind. Even though I'm joining 2 weeks late and only have 2 days to prepare for the big SMP war, I'm gonna get the best loot in the game, like enchanted netherite armor, diamonds, and so much more to make sure that I take over this SMP, so let's get to work. But just before that, I know every YouTuber probably asks this, but if you could please subscribe right now, it would help me out so much. It only takes a few seconds of your time, and you can unsubscribe whenever you like. This helps me so much, so I'd really appreciate it if you could just click that button. Alright now, let's actually start grinding, because I got a lot of work to do.
These caves are juicy, dude. Like, they're just full.
Caves. These caves. Caves, man. Yo, I found diamonds. Wait, okay, I think it's 3 diamonds. Okay, it's 3 diamonds.
Yeah, that's it.
Alright, diamond pickaxe. Bobby, I checked, it's fine. Oh, by the way, mob spawner. Thorns 3 book? After getting enough resources, I decided to make a secret base and set my spawn. This small stone room was temporary, and soon enough would be turned into a stacked base with everything I would need to take over the SMP. In the meantime though, I ventured off to a village where I trapped a few villagers for later, and then followed my teammate Murphin to one of his secret bases in the nether.
Oh, it's a nether base. Could I take some nether wart?
This base was filled with potions and far better than mine. It also led to a netherite mine, which I would need if I wanted to get myself some netherite armor and tools. After making most of my armor and tools netherite, the next step was to max them out with some OP enchants, and my teammate Murphin had just the thing. I was able to use this secret nether fortress to farm blaze rods and experience to fully enchant my netherite with. This was only my second day on the SMP, and I was already going to be stacked in no time. An hour of grinding later and getting some absolutely terrible enchantments on my armor, I had finally gotten enough XP to fully max out my armor, with Protection 4, Unbreaking 3, and Mending on every single piece. But remember, my enemies were stacked, and even with the best gear in the game, there were still a few more things that I needed to do if I really wanted to survive in the end fight and take over the SMP. I showed Murphin the village I had been to earlier, and luckily all of the villagers were still there. Unfortunately, we weren't the only ones who had been here, meaning it was only a matter of time before someone else showed up to the village to either kill us or the villagers. Although I'd already used villager trading to get mending on my armor and tools, we needed the villagers for items like ender pearls, XP bottles, and apples, which we could use to craft golden apples with. Without these items, we were as good as dead in the end fight. And I don't want to spoil anything, but boy am I glad we prepared. I got one. Okay.
Apples, let's go.
Wait, actually already? Yo, I got 52 apples. All these apples will be 40. Now I've got 40 apples. After a long day of grinding, it was safe to say that I was finally ready. It was time for me to log off the SMP for the night. My team had already discussed the stronghold location and planned to meet up the next day. Alright, so something big happened. First of all, the event time was posted wrong in the Discord server, so basically I woke up to about 1,000 messages of people spamming me to get on. Thankfully, everyone decided to wait before actually opening up the end, so it was all good. My team all met up at the stronghold, ready to go in. I got a few more hearts from a player while at the stronghold, but of course, everything turned for the worse. My super intelligent self decided to forget to check that my microphone was working on the recording software. So basically my mic was muted during the biggest event of the server. Yeah, I messed up pretty bad, but luckily my teammate Murphin was kind enough to give me his POV of the end fight, which included my voice in it. Alright, enough talking though, let me just show you how the end fight played out. This was insane.
Alright, go, 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 go.
Wait, go up, go up, go up.
Go, go. Oh, the Rudy's here.
Oh, what?
Get out, get out, get out. Get out, dude. Get out, get out, get out, get out. Kill him. What do you mean grace period?
Oh, that's not a base. That's not a base. Oh god.
Here we go, boys. He has thorns. What the? Break his armor, boys. Break his armor. I'm getting shot. I'm getting shot.
Oh my god, what is happening?
You got him! Nice! Go for solo me. I might die. I'm gonna die.
Freeze. I'm getting strong.
Yo, they're going after you, man. Me, Vixios. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god.
The wither's killing it. Someone go in. Hey, I'm going in.
Hurry. Oh my god.
Oh no, I clicked the
I got it. No.
Go. Leave.
No, they're blocking it up.
Guys, I'm watching them. They don't know I'm orphan. I can't help you.
I'm in. Yes, I'm free.
Nice. Wait. Wait, do you have the egg?
No, I don't have the egg.
I got the egg.
Get out of there. Get out.
Let's go.
After the battle, our team managed to secure the dragon egg, and I had managed to take down one of the strongest SMP members of the enemy team. I was even able to spy on the enemies from an obsidian tower in the end, and none of them even noticed me. I even tried to assassinate Solomon while the rest of the group was distracted, but unfortunately it led to them 4v1ing me, so I had no choice but to escape through the portal and get back into the overworld. Nevertheless, my team had managed to survive the entire war, despite being at such a large heart and gear disadvantage. After fighting in the war, I had proved my power on the SMP. Unlike any of the new server members, I hadn't died once, and instead stole 4 hearts for a total of 14. I was even able to steal Adu's prized possession, his sword, which he'd used to steal countless hearts from other members of the SMP. I even had this super amazing secret base with tons of loot, and it was only my 3rd day of joining this LifeSteal SMP Copy. This story of how I plan to take over the SMP isn't over yet, so make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to see me take over this LifeSteal SMP Copy. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.